Izzy says that he asked Susan to give it back to him, but instead of handing it over, she threw it on the ground and she started yelling at him. He also had a pair of roller skates that were in that field with him, and that is when, according to Izzy, this is what he told the investigators, Susan picked up the skates and threw them at him, hitting him in the toe. Now, at some point during this dispute between this grown woman, who was almost 60 years old, and 2 literal children, because remember, Isaac was also close by during all of this, only 12 years old, Susan apparently even started swinging an umbrella at the kids. So after this whole altercation, a 911 call came in. This wasn't the call that was reporting the shooting, this was a different one. It was Susan on the other end of the line, and she was quoted as saying, "We got kids trespassing, standing there, leaving all the toys around, just screaming, yelling, and just being absolutely obnoxious." She even admitted during the 911 call that she did pick up some of the skates and that she, quote, threw them to the side. She didn't say she threw them at the child, she said she threw them to the side. But she didn't stop there. She also claimed to the 911 operator that Izzy, the 10-year-old, mind you, that he had threatened to beat her up for throwing his skates. She even claimed that he said that he was going to go get someone to come and kill her. So the 911 operator, of course, asked, okay, well, are you inside or are you outside? Are you in any danger? Are they on your property? Like those kinds of things. Trying to assess the situation and see, where are you at? Are you protected? Are you indoors? Is your door locked? Are you out there with them? Like what's going on? So Susan said, quote, "Yeah, there are several kids out there right now, and I'm fearing for my life. I'm very scared." Now, of course, the 911 operator was trying to diffuse and calm down what seemed over the phone like a potentially scary situation, right? I mean, 911 operators don't have the full backstory, the same one that the police do. They don't know that this is kind of a pattern in this neighborhood. To them, this very well could have been a life or death situation. If someone calls in and says they are in fear for their life, you have to take that seriously until you know more. So the operator instructed Susan to stay inside, to avoid the kids, to lock her doors, to close her windows, and said, the police will be there soon. Just hunker down, basically, until the police get there. However, within 2 minutes, another call went into 911. And this was the call from Susan about shooting AJ. Now, the key witnesses in this case are AJ's 2 sons. Because apparently after Susan had yelled at the kids and swung that umbrella at them and threw the skates at them, the boys went and got their mom. It's also worth mentioning that during a previous time that the police had been called out to this neighborhood by Susan, the officers literally told the kids that they wanted them to go get their parents if Susan ever came outside or was saying mean things to them. So in this situation now, fast forwarding from them, the kids were literally doing exactly what they had been instructed to do by the police officers. Things were escalating and they went and got their mom. So AJ, with her son Izzy at her side, went to Susan's front door, knocking and demanding that Susan come outside so that they could settle whatever had happened between her and the kids. And AJ was hearing things from her kids, really awful things. And to her, it wasn't fair. I mean, if Susan had a problem with her kids, she needed to take it up with her, the adult in the situation. If one of my kids came to me and told me that someone, whether it be a neighbor, a parent, whoever it was, had thrown something at them or was yelling at them, I'd be at their doorstep too, being like, no bitch, take it up with me. You don't talk to my 10-year-old, and you certainly don't throw things at them. So this is what AJ was doing. Like, come out, Susan, let's talk about this, let's settle this. But instead of Susan coming outside and having a mature adult conversation, things escalated. And very quickly, Susan fired a gunshot through her front door, a shot that hit AJ. It all happened incredibly fast. Detectives later learned that from the time that Susan called 911 about the boys, to them going and getting their mom AJ, to when AJ knocked on Susan's door and then Susan fired her gun,